All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Product 12 podcast, episode 2. I'm here with Tristan Tilma here with Jared Somerville, Hunter Latchuk, and then my older brother here, Zach Tilma, is joining us.
What's going on, fellas?
What up? I guess we're just going to jump right into it. Today we're just going to talk about a couple of trailers.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has come out in the last week. Because there was the Brazil Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone decided to go there and just drop all their fucking heat. Like, we got an Indiana Jones trailer and a title announcement. We got a Last of Us trailer. We got a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. We got...
Transformers.
That's right, Transformers.
And then Cocaine Bear.
I don't think that was part of... I don't think that was part of the Comic-Con. That just happened to come out at the same time.
But you guys have talked about it, and I haven't seen it.
Yes, we can actually...
I want to see Cocaine Bear.
If you guys want, we can watch it.
Yeah, we can watch the Cocaine Bear.
Throw some on.
Quick.
See the trailers.
Yeah.
First trailer reaction.
Yeah.
We'll watch the Cocaine Bear one. We've already seen the other ones.
Yeah, we can. Oh, did we watch the Dial of Destiny one? Yeah, but we can talk about that one after. Let's watch the Cocaine Bear.
You want to watch Cocaine Bear?
Yeah.
All right, let's watch.
Let's throw that one on first.
I don't think Zach's seen this trailer or Hunter.
Let's fucking watch Cocaine Bear.
I have not seen this trailer yet.
Medic! Oh, Jesus. What is that?
No way, he's in it?
Who's that?
Isn't that the guy from TikTok?
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, that guy does make TikToks, doesn't he?
I'll talk about it afterwards.
Inspired.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Why are there so many people in this movie?
Is that
I feel like I'm having a fucking...
Alden Ehrenreich?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why are there
I didn't
so
even
many
think-
people in this movie?
That's inappropriate.
Oh man, you fucked.
What is wrong with that bear?
Is that?
Turn it, man!
Jesus.
We have such good luck in nature.
It's funny because Elizabeth Banks directed that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no, that dude is the TikTok guy who always does those retail TikToks.
Yeah.
You know that fucking... I don't even know his name. And I don't want to just sit here and, like, not accurately... He's a TikToker. That's pretty funny either way.
That
know you're
I
talking
can't
about
tell if that movie's gonna be bad or if it's gonna be like good in a really bad way. If you know what I mean.
I think I'm...
Yeah, it looks
if I
funny
see
in a
it,
bad way.
Yeah, like it's going to just be one of those movies that's just entertaining to watch.
Is it gonna like try and take itself too seriously or
No.
Oh,
no?
no, definitely not.
No.
You could tell by the trailer the way.
Yeah.
The way that he's not taking himself seriously.
I just can't believe how many people
Actors
are in that movie.
Yeah.
I felt like I was having like an aneurysm every single second. There's a new actor.
Like, wait, what the fuck? What are you doing in a Cocaine Bear?
Like this seems like something that the company fucking the Asylum would produce.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
would be an Asylum picture. Brought to you by the brilliant minds of Sharknado and fucking...
Yeah, definitely along those lines.
Pretty
yeah,
sure that
Shark
it's
Quest.
also
awesome.
Ray Liotta's final performance after his passing earlier this year.
Oh,
what,
really?
what a way to go, for Ray
Damn.
Liotta.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear, baby.
That's pretty hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, that just looks like a fun, entertaining movie to see. I will enjoy that. I'm sure of it.
We'll probably
Speaking
not even go
of
see it.
fun and entertaining, the new Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. What do you guys think of that?
I don't understand the title.
I
What
don't
do you mean?
I don't know. I was thinking about it earlier to like, do I not like the title or am
I'm
I just not used to a new Indiana
I'm
Jones
not
title?
huge on the title. It's kind of like, like whatever. Dial of Destiny. Like to me that speaks to like time travel and just from watching the trailer.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I've heard whispers online of people thinking that the movie has a huge time travel element
Well,
to it.
just from watching the trailer, I definitely believe it's a huge time travel thing because you see like a bunch of old shots of Indiana Jones. I thought it was digitally de-aged, but I learned today that is
No, it's not. Yeah.
archive footage. That's
It's
just
not
wasn't
digitally
used.
de-aged.
It's just
What?
archive
It is
footage.
it's archival footage that they have repurposed in the same way that they did Princess Leia
Yeah.
in Rise of Skywalker. I saw a clip today of Harrison Ford talking about it on the red carpet. He said that he was not digitally de-aged. And it
That's
makes sense
crazy.
if you watch the trailer and you see the clips. Like, I don't know. If it was de-aged, it would be like incredibly.
Be obvious.
It would look incredible for the CGI, but I don't know. Hearing that, it's like it absolutely makes sense that it is.
Look, they make Samuel Jackson look really good de-aged.
But he looks like he's de-aged, and the stuff in this trailer, I don't know. That just looks like that does not look like CGI. It does actually look like it is archival footage that has been manipulated. Probably been put through some kind of
there's some sort of editing going on.
Restoration.
Do you think it's like deepfake technology?
There could be some sort of like assistance with deepfake technology, like helping it. Like
keep in mind, there is a scene in Last Crusade where he's dressed up in a Nazi uniform.
That's what I was.
That's
about
the
to
thing.
Say,
like
this is just
he is in a Nazi uniform in Last Crusade, so it is completely plausible.
And like the setting, like his background is very reminiscent.
I think
of the room he's in.
Mads Mikkelsen is also getting that de-aging on him because if you see. Where's the shot? If
they could have manipulated Mads Mikkelsen, but Harrison Ford is too old.
Yeah, this shot, he looks really young in this shot, Mads Mikkelsen. Like in the.
I know what you mean. I think so as well.
Yeah.
There's clearly some kind of.
Because they're connecting him to like the space race in the late '60s, along with Indiana Jones, which I'm very interested in what they're gonna do. This fucking shot, the floating head, man. Look at this.
When you watch it frame by frame, of course.
No, I noticed it watching in regular speed. It's so obvious. But it's fine. He's an 80-year-old man. I don't think he is.
Who is doing some actual running? If you see some of the promotional stills, there's like one of him running, and it's like I can't believe Harrison Ford is moving his body that way
at his
old age.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy, but.
It looks hype.
Back on it though.
It looks hype.
That's gonna be Tom Cruise when he's that old.
It looks interesting, but it's unfortunately not gonna have the Spielberg touch.
No.
That's when.
Yeah.
James Mangold. I've only seen a few of his films, most notably Logan. I thought Logan was fucking awesome.
He's good. He's not some he's not gonna just phone it in. James Mangold is good, but. I don't know. I'm excited. The trailer's promising, but I don't know.
There's almost like a West Side Story element to the Indiana Jones that Spielberg adds. Like just like the feel of like the Indiana Jones movies. Like if you watch like West Side Story and then watch like Indiana Jones, like the way the movies are shot, like they feel very similar.
No one moves the camera or does the camera.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
Steven Spielberg.
It's his style. Like that's what I mean.
It's an absolute disadvantage.
It's his thing.
And say what you will about Crystal Skull, it's not an amazing movie. But I'll defend that movie. I actually do.
I don't think it's that bad. I watched it the other day.
I don't think Crystal Skull is a terrible movie.
It's fun. Really not. It's fun.
I should clarify.
Shia LaBeouf is great.
I thought Shia LaBeouf was fucking awesome in the movie.
Is it Kate Blanchett?
Kate
Blanchett is in that. She's good in that too.
The funniest scene in the movie is hands down, at least for me, the scene where it was the greasers versus the jocks in the bar.
That's what I mean. Doing West Side Story.
That's such a fun fucking scene. Yeah. That whole chase sequence that goes right after it too. It's just a good time. I don't mind
cameo.
So, I mean, it literally feels like Shia LaBeouf's character.
And at the very end of the scene,
West Side Story, just tossed in.
And then at the very end of that chase scene, there's a scene that directly mirrors The Last Crusade. Like when I don't even remember. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go. Kingdom of Crystal. Jesus fucking Christ. Kingdom of
Second. I mean,
enamored.
I don't think Crystal Skull is some secret masterpiece, but it's incredible. I don't know. It's fun.
I was gonna say, like,
it was super fun.
I watched it like a lot when I was a kid for some reason. Like, I have memories of watching it when I was younger, and like I always just enjoyed it. Like, it was just a fun, enjoyable movie. And I just I never was I never had seen like the older ones before. Like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was the first Indiana Jones that I ever watched.
Oh, really? Interesting.
And so it's like there's like a special place for it in my heart.
I don't even remember if it was the first one I saw.
But it's like for me, it's just fun. Like whenever I watch it now, I'm like, this is not like a good movie, but it's just one of those movies that it's fun enough to have a good time watching.
So, I mean, I'm like, honestly, for me, the movie I really enjoy it all the way up until they get to like the temple at the end. So I mean, literally, it's West Side Story and Indiana Jones.
I love it. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf is so funny.
Shia is so great in this movie.
Do you think he'll come back?
No, there's zero chance.
I don't.
No
Zero
way.
chance.
No.
There's zero chance.
Why is that? Because
he's probably over it.
He's
He
just-
probably doesn't want to.
Well, no, it's not even him being over it. It's just I don't think that they would ever
That's
ask him to come back.
controversial.
No, but that too. Like
There's just
after
no chance.
everything
There's
that
just
he's-
no chance they would ask. There's
Yeah.
gonna be some corny line in the new one where they're like,
Where's
"Can't believe
Butt
your
now?"
son died in that horrible traffic accident." Those years. that's probably because there's no way. I don't know. There's no way
He got beat up in that gang fight.
maybe he got drafted.
Do you know the story of the drama and stuff that had happened with Shia and this movie? And
I didn't know if
everything
there's
that had gone
I didn't
on?
know if there was drama linked between him and this movie. I just know there's drama with Shia LaBeouf, but
No, with this movie in particularly, after the movie had come out, and he took a lot of the criticism, and his character took a big beating. Of course, it's a contentious point for a lot of people. His character, and while he was doing press for the second Transformers movie, he badmouthed the movie a little bit. And it pissed off Spielberg, and it pissed off Harrison Ford, and Spielberg in particular, who had kind of really tried to make Shia this big thing. Like he had seen him in Holes, and he was like, "This kid's got it," and that's why he put him in the It was Steven Spielberg who had Michael Bay cast him in the Transformers movie, and then he put him in this movie, and then he got him in Disturbia to build Spielberg was really trying to coddle and and really champion Shia, and Shia kind of threw everyone under the bus. And this is all hearsay. This is rumor. It's not obviously not confirmed. I don't know Steven Spielberg personally, but the rumor is that Spielberg really felt burned and kind of just kicked him to the curb afterwards and was like, "All right, whatever, kid." And then of course we know what publicly happened with Shia for all those years afterwards.
I'm not famous anymore.
So yeah, that's the weird Shia LaBeouf story.
But he's a great actor. In Honey Boy, he was fucking great in that movie. Even though the movie's semi-autobiographical about his life.
Well, not even. He recently came out and said he lied about it.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, only a couple of weeks ago.
I didn't hear about that.
A couple of months ago now. But he recently came out and said that he lied about the movie, and it's not actually autobiographical. And people were like, "What the hell, bro?"
Yeah, it's this scene that directly mirrors a moment in Last Crusade with Indy and Sean Connery. I like that.
Oh yeah, you're right. I never even really.
I forget what happened in Last Crusade, but I know he was smirking and laughing at some Nazis blowing up.
It's
or
when
some shit.
he obliterates a bunch of the Nazis.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he jousts with
Yeah, and Sean Connery just doesn't look very impressed at all.
But yeah, no, not I don't know, not perfect, but Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is.
It's a good time. It's definitely the worst of all the movies, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
I don't
that's what I
think
mean.
it's bad.
If I was to sit down and watch
Any given day could be better than Temple of Doom, and I like Temple of Doom a lot as well.
That's
I'm
true.
not.
Temple of Doom isn't always the vibe. It's sometimes.
That's what I
a
think is
little
funny though.
harsh.
People were
Yeah.
willing to not believe that aliens could reasonably be in the Indiana Jones mythos and cinematic universe.
They're not aliens.
But-
they're interdimensional.
However,
beings.
they're willing to sit here and believe that a dude can fucking put his hand to your chest and rip your heart out
I
while
did
it's
say
still
Kalima
beating.
quite a few times.
Okay, but
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
What's next?
We got the Guardians of the Galaxy
3
Volume
trailer.
3.
yeah.
I watched it.
So that's it for
We
Indiana
all
Jones.
watched that one. I mean,
I haven't.
Anything else you want to say about Indiana Jones? We're excited for it. Looks cool. We think it's about time travel.
What's your favorite Indiana Jones movie?
It's way too long. It's an easy answer. Come
Yeah.
on.
What do you mean?
Raiders.
First one. Raiders
Really?
Lost Ark. Yeah.
My favorite's
Raiders?
Last Crusade.
No, Raiders.
Really? Last Crusade.
Last
sucks.
That's
Crusade's
what I was
great,
gonna
but Raiders-
say is
Last Crusade.
I personally think Last Crusade.
Last
is my
Crusade is such a
Last
good
Crusade's
film.
my second favorite.
I totally
I think
agree with
it's-
you, but no,
I
I don't
think
even
it's-
think.
I think it's my favorite.
I personally don't really think there's much of a
All right,
competition.
what's the best Lego Indiana Jones movie? The best game to play
Oh,
out of
movie.
the
I was
like when you have the
I
Lego
don't know,
Indiana
dude. I only
Jones
played, the
complete
first
saga
one.
or whatever.
I only played the first one.
Oh really?
I only played the one Lego Indiana Jones game.
I thought Temple of Doom was pretty fun. On the DS, that's the only version I had of
Oh,
Indiana Jones.
I don't know. I didn't play that much Lego.
Yeah, I don't know.
I played a lot of Lego Star Wars.
All right, well, you guys can cry about Guardians of the Galaxy now.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've seen this trailer.
I mean, yeah, it looks fun. I'm just happy James Gunn's back. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm very relieved that they didn't hire a different director.
I mean, I'm interested. I don't know. I just hope it's good.
I think it's kind of funny, but like, why does he just like demolish this little alien child?
He doesn't get it.
I don't understand. Why does? I don't want to be too much of a naysayer, but why does it look like shit?
And why the fuck is Groot juicing?
Weird, eh? Like,
why is Groot juicing?
That scene specifically. Yeah, Groot's juicing, bro.
Groot is fucking juicing.
I totally mean that scene. Yeah.
Rocket is going to die.
Oh yeah.
Drax is not going to die. Rocket's going to die.
Yeah, fair.
I don't think that's. So.
I don't know. I think Drax is going.
I think it's. I keep seeing people saying that, and that just seems like it's way too telegraphed.
Why else would they explore his backstory? For no fucking other particular reason.
I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Just to more develop Rocket as a character, he's not been that developed. I think they're just going to kill off Drax because Dave Bautista is saying that he's already like.
If anything, he's the one who might not die because they keep saying that the Guardians of the Galaxy are done after this movie. They're out of the MCU.
There's no way.
Which, sure, there's no way that they're out because that's the nature of these Marvel movies. But if anyone is not out, it's the one that is not played by an actual actor, and it's just a computer raccoon who they just have the person come and do the voice, you know?
Yeah,
like, Chris Pratt can say he's done, and they're like, okay, I guess Peter Quill is gone.
So I mean, Dave
but
Bautista
they can do whatever they want with Rocky Raccoon because he's not played by an actual actor.
Dave already said in an interview that he's like getting kind of old for the role, and so he's thinking it's time to like settle
throw
in the
towel.
Yeah,
throw in
the towel.
Denis Villeneuve.
And so I think
he literally looks like he's dying in this shot.
Yeah. Great.
The trailers are edited in a certain way to make
for sure. Marvel is notorious for manipulating the trailers. That's I'm gonna get to that after Guardians, but yes, Marvel's very good at manipulating their trailers. So I guess we'll never know. Fuck.
I'll see it.
I mean, yeah, when we watch the movie, you'll find out.
Well,
what
because
happened,
in the Infinity
it does look
War
interesting.
Trailer.
It looks very good.
Volume 2 is honestly.
He's finally got his girlfriend, so that's pretty.
Oh, is that Monster back from the? Second?
Yeah, because they're going back to the Sovereign because fucking what's his nuts is in the movie, and he came.
Oh, like the Golden Boy.
Yeah, he's from so the Sovereign's gonna be in this movie.
What's
to
his
an
name?
extent.
Like Adam.
Adam. I think it's literally just Adam.
Black Adam. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I hope it's not too. I honestly hope it's not too serious. Because
well, it's gonna be an emotional movie. Like every Guardians movie is honestly a beautiful example of how you can be very comedic, be very fun, but also somehow get dramatic and also very emotional and successfully pull it off. Yeah. Because like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, love it or hate it, you can laugh and you can cry.
Guardians 2,
the emotional shit for Guardians of 2 didn't really land for me.
It didn't land for you.
Guardians 2 is probably one of my 5 favorite Marvel movies.
It didn't land for you. I thought Yondu's whole arc in Guardians
Yondu's arc was that was emotional, but like the whole stuff between like Peter and his dad.
No, that's not. It was the whole father between the whole father-son relationship between Yondu and Peter that stood out.
Yeah.
I really like that whole like ending a little bit. Yeah, the last.
And that's what I liked with the Guardians holiday special. It brought that back just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
It brought that light back just a small amount.
You've all seen the holiday special?
I watched it 2 nights ago.
It's so random that they like announced that Peter is like Mantis' sister in that. Like, it's like weird that you would do that in like a little like holiday special and not like save that. And also the fact that they announced that they bought Nowhere from the Collector.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, like they announced that in the fucking holiday special. I'm like, that feels like a pretty huge plot point that the Guardians of the Galaxy bought Nowhere off of the Collector.
Do you think they bought it after Thor: Love and Thunder, or like when Thor was mucking about with them?
I don't know, maybe. Like, I think that's where they went after Thor: Love and Thunder, or like when they were like,
they just went straight to Nowhere.
Or like maybe that's.
I thought Nowhere was fucking destroyed. I thought Thanos leveled the place.
Like they've been rebuilding it.
Yeah, like that's what I was surprised to see.
So maybe
Nowhere.
they bought it like long before Love and Thunder, and then they've just been like mucking around with Thor.
Like in the holiday special, I was just surprised to see Nowhere was still there because I thought Thanos fucking destroyed it.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm interested. But I don't know. Marvel has been kind of all over the place this last year, so I don't know how. I haven't been
interested in it.
I'm excited that it's James Gunn. James Gunn's done a good job, but
that's what I'm like. I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like out of all of the newest Marvel stuff, this is what I'm excited for.
Like James Gunn.
This will be a fun movie.
He did a hell of a job with the new Suicide Squad movie. I thought that movie was fun.
Yeah, I thought that movie was really good. Actually, I really enjoyed that movie.
I just think it's so funny that he got initially fired from Marvel, then DC was like, "What's up, James Gunn? How you doing?" Well, it's because they blatantly tried to copy the Guardians movie vibe with the first Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
they tried to copy the vibes of the first Guardians movie with.
Yeah,
Suicide Squad.
You can definitely feel that.
So they saw an opportunity and they fucking went for it. That's when they saw James Gunn got fired from Marvel.
And they're like, "Wait, hold on, get back here."
And look at him now. He's head of DC.
It is so weird that Will Poulter is the villain.
Wait, you guys are getting paid? You guys are getting paid?
That is kind of like.
I just can't see him as anything other than just the stoner after Midsommar. Wandering around with his vape and then getting fucking killed.
Wait, he's in this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always think of him from Maze Runner.
Maze Runner?
Yeah.
I just
the
think
bushy eyebrow bully.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, he's from We're the Millers for me.
That too.
What's next?
Are we done talking about Guardians?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Man, it looks cool.
Groot's still fucking juicing, dude.
Groot's all juiced up.
Groot is taking the finest roids in the galaxy.
One thing I thought was interesting is why he looks so different in the holiday special is because it's the first time they've ever done like a fully CG Groot. Like Vin Diesel did no motion capture for the holiday special.
Mm-hmm. What?
That's why he comes off looking kind of strange in the holiday special.
Well, someone probably did motion
capture. I don't
capture.
think Vin Diesel does motion capture anyway for the.
I'm pretty sure James Gunn did the dancing motion capture at the beginning of Volume 2.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, what they said is that it wasn't motion capture at all. It was a fully CG model that they just animated.
Interesting. Next, The Last of Us.
Do Transformers.
Transformers next. Yeah, because there's an interesting conversation I want to bring that segues into The Last of Us that I want to do after Transformers. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
This looks like a fun movie.
It looks okay.
I think it will be
no more Michael Bay. No more Michael Bay, which is very interesting.
No more Steven Spielberg.
It's a reboot. The Bayverse doesn't exist anymore. It's a direct sequel to Bumblebee.
Yes,
and Bumblebee was fucking tight. I liked Bumblebee.
Honestly, I don't think I've seen Bumblebee.
What?
Maybe I have a while ago.
I think I have, but I don't remember anything from it.
Yeah, with Haley Steinfeld, John Cena.
I know John Cena's in it, yeah.
I just don't remember anything.
Have you seen Bumblebee?
Yeah, my take on Bumblebee is everyone said watch it. It's actually a really good Transformers movie, and I watched it and I went, okay.
Yeah, it was alright. That's what I mean.
Okay, but it's better than
did watch it, but it probably went like over my head.
It's better than any of the Bay movies.
Michael Bay.
Really? I thought Transformer 1 goes fucking
Michael Bay's late Transformers movies suck hard. There's nothing that you can do about it. But even his early Transformers movies have a lot of stuff in it that also kind of sucks and, for lack of a better word, is problematic with his characterizations and stuff like that. But at least Michael Bay is a visionary. Whether or not you like his vision or you dislike his vision. Like, hey, Ambulance was great.
It was
I had a great time watching
First
Ambulance.
20 minutes of 6 Underground.
So,
we had a good conversation about this first 20 minutes of 6 Underground in the editing class.
Six Underground. No. But, Ambulance is underrated. Ambulance was great.
Ambulance is fun.
6 Underground. No.
Ambulance was great. If you have not seen Ambulance,
I want to see it.
It's legitimately.
I have
great.
it on Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
I own it on YouTube.
Well,
from you
legitimately
now.
great. I say it's great.
give you all
But
my
Ambulance is like is what Michael Bay should be doing.
Okay.
The problem with his Transformers movies is he just got sucked up into doing it, and then he just kept having to do it and bring up Steven Spielberg again. I'm pretty sure Steven kept being like, please. And then by Transformers 5, he's like, I want to put a... I think Transformers 5 is like Michael Bay's suicide note to cinema. He's like, does not care at all.
I was gonna say, the fifth one is just...
I'm still not over the 5 different aspect ratios that were constantly changing in The Last Night. Like, it can be a basic coverage conversation scene, and one angle is a fucking 2:3:9:1 aspect ratio, and the other angle is fucking 1:9:1. Completely different. One's this, one is that. Why does it make sense? I don't fucking know. But
all I remember of the fifth one,
I'm still
which I saw in the movie theater for some reason because.
That's the one with the dinosaurs, right?
No, that was
the fourth one.
I feel bad for my dad because he bought like
this is
6
the one with
tickets.
like the witch thing in the sky.
I just remember like half the theater walking out in the last 25 minutes of Transformers 5, which is like fair. But why would you wait until the last 20 minutes of this 3-hour movie? Just like sit it out, I guess. I don't know. I just thought it was so weird. It was like en masse. We just see this like a large group of people just decide to be like goodbye and leave, and I was just like, fair. I don't know why I'm even sitting here myself, but
that's harsh.
It's when you sit through the
that's such a fucking like sick pull up to the crib though. Just like so smoothly come out of your car.
That's how I slide off the ice now when I'm doing my job.
No.
Yeah, because right where the gates are, where the Zamboni comes out, it's all nice and wet. So it's like you just slide perfectly. So I just always will just have my hands in my pockets. I'll just.
Bro, people don't like Optimus
off.
Prime's look in this movie. I don't know why.
I mean, he's going back to like the comics.
No, I know. People are comparing.
I was gonna say.
People are comparing his.
I don't
look.
understand the point of like the animals though.
People are comparing his look to the Bumblebee design.
It's just like.
Oh, it's based off the TV show The Beast Wars. I never watched it, so I don't understand it either.
Fair.
But it's based off some former source material.
I just don't get if you're already a ginormous robot, what's the point of like making yourself look kind of like a gorilla?
We'll have to find out because, like I said, I've never watched the Beast Wars show, so I don't get it.
These guys turn into cars, so they drive fast. The others turn into animals.
But this guy just goes from a gorilla to a more armored gorilla.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah, no, look, when he transforms later on in the movie, he just goes from a gorilla to a more armored gorilla.
Well, he's a gorilla now, but when he transforms, he actually, he looks more like that Transformer, like an actual person, like a body, but he's still, he's a gorilla. So you view him as a gorilla. So technically, in
Optimus Prime's terms, he's technically incarnate right now.
Do you guys prefer this Optimus design or the Bayverse design, like the Michael Bay design of Optimus Prime?
This one.
I think this looks cool.
This one, to me, this one is just more clean. It just looks.
To be honest with you, I haven't seen Optimus Prime in a minute, so I can't really remember I don't really remember what he looked like.
I just remember his truck form, when he's driving, looked cooler in Michael Bay's. But
there's two. He went through two big changes in
we are here.
So there's this design, which was from The Last Night.
Oh, that looks stupid as fuck.
That was the Age of Extinction, The Last Night Bayverse one, and then there's this one from the first three.
That's pretty gangster.
My real
that one
question
does look good.
Why do people over the age of 15 care about Transformers?
Because it's Transformers, dude. No.
No bitches.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. The one from the first movie does go hard though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He does look cool. I mean, I think it does actually look a little cleaner in this new way.
It looks too mechanical. There's too much shit going on in his body.
That's what I was going to say. There's just too much happening in this one.
And this one,
this one is just more clean.
Yeah, it almost looks,
you can
maybe
see
his chest
him.
looks a little too clean. But
I agree. The whole front of his grill.
I don't know if I like
his
windshield.
That's what.
As his windows.
It's cool that Bumblebee's back to the Camaro, like the original.
Yeah, I like that.
Nice, and this is supposed to be jazz.
I assume it's jazz.
Yeah,
it's a nice Porsche.
What was jazz in the first Michael Bay?
Was it a Pontiac Solstice?
Yeah, it was Pontiac.
Don't ask me why I know that so simple. I don't.
I thought it was a Porsche.
No, it's a Pontiac Solstice.
No, it was a Pontiac.
Because I loved that car, and I just remember being obsessed with that car.
Didn't you have the toy of jazz?
There was
I had the toy of jazz too.
I don't really understand the point of the animals though.
We'll just have to find out, dude. That's RC, I think. I think there's a much more human look in their faces, at least some of their faces. Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of that kind of started in the later Transformers.
Which I kind of dig. I kind of dig it.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. It almost looks some AI kind of. But I guess they are.
I don't know. It looks fun. It looks like it's probably going to be better than any of the Bayverse movies. So the
Maybe,
guy,
I don't know. The first one goes fucking hard.
I think the guy that
I don't know.
It's
directed by Stephen Cable Jr.
Didn't he do like Creed 2?
He did Creed 2.
Yeah. I mean, I like Creed 2.
See, look, he just goes from a gorilla to a more armored gorilla. Into like a robot again.
But he does like transform from like an like actual like gorilla looking
Back
form
into like
to
a
like
robot,
an actual like robot.
Knight.
But it is like still like
It's kind of like the
I think it's just the way his armor is and the way like around his shoulders and stuff. It's still very circular like muscles like a gorilla has. Like it still just makes him look like a gorilla.
I guess my point.
Well, it's like the
still
Dinobots
stands,
from Age of Extinction.
If you could, if you
like,
could turn
agree.
into like a jet fighter like Starscream or like a fucking like tank like
say
the other
what
guys,
you want
why are you
about
choosing to be a gorilla.
Say what you want about Revenge of the Fallen, but Jetfire is fucking awesome. Jetfire is sick.
Yeah, Jetfire goes fucking hard. I mean, I love all those robots.
Dude,
planes.
did you ever have either of like the big toys of like Jetfire
Always
and Optimus
wanted
Prime?
that.
And if you had both of them, you can like combine Jetfire into Prime, and it has like the big ass fucking armored Prime from the
Yeah,
end.
I always wanted that, but it was, never could get it. It was like $200.
It was expensive, but it was so sick.
To a kid that was like $1 million.
Anyways, I think
I mean, to me, it's still like $1 million.
I think the new Transformers will be fun.
It'll be fun. It will be
an entertaining movie.
Now here's how I debate a movie's worth. If it's a blockbuster type movie, is it IMAX worthy or is it just like standard format on a cheap Tuesday worthy?
That's fair. I'll probably just see it on a cheap Tuesday, but
Fair.
I will not be witnessing the film Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. That's my.
Fair.
That's
fair. I honestly, yeah,
I'll probably go see it.
I'll
probably
probably
will
see
see
it in
it.
like on a cheap Tuesday, or I'll just wait for it to come to streaming.
That's what I was gonna say. As I probably will see it eventually. I just don't know.
You're
if
gonna
I'll
have to
ever
subscribe to
spend money on
Paramount Plus.
Well, never mind.
I have
probably
Paramount
won't.
Plus.
I probably will not see it.
Anyways,
Maybe I'll see it on cheap
My
Tuesday.
parents got Paramount Plus to watch fucking Yellowstone.
No.
That's the thing is now everyone's
That's great.
mom and dad are gonna get Paramount
Yeah.
Plus.
To
So
watch
they can
fucking
watch
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
I actually want to watch the 1923 show. With Harrison Ford.
Anyways,
Last of
Next
Us.
Last of Us
topic.
has a new trailer.
Yes, sir.
Last of Us.
Let's talk about
so
that.
sick, dude. So sick. You all played the game. You played the game. No, you didn't.
I haven't played through the game yet, but
How the
I
fuck?
Many times.
How the fuck did you not-
I've seen like somebody play it on YouTube.
So I played
So,
through the game. The
I
first
know
time
what
the
happens in the
PewDiePie
game.
One of the very first things I ever tried to write was I tried to write my own film adaptation of The Last of Us.
was that your own or was that part of mine?
No, this was like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cause
I tried to write my own film adaptation.
Okay.
And when it got 300 pages long, because I just was trying to literally adapt the game, I was like, this will not work as a movie. And that is why it is clearly a TV show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of The Last of Us.
Because
Huge.
I didn't play the game. I didn't play the first game until like 2015.
Yeah.
Because I never had a
2015.
PS3. I never had a PS3. I had an Xbox 360, and then I switched over to PlayStation for the next generation. And the PS4 I bought came with The Last of Us. I didn't get a PS4 until like a year after it came out, and it came with a copy of The Last of Us Remastered. And I finally decided to play it like a year after that, and I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
I remember being so struck and being so unsure of what how the hell I should feel the ending of that game for like so long.
Yeah, no, I remember Last of Us being one of like the first games. Like, I mean, I used to play a lot of the Uncharted when I was younger too, and those games kind of are like story driven as well.
Yeah.
But
Same company.
yeah, same company. The Last of Us, when I played that game for the first time, I was like the first time I played a video game where I was like, oh my god, I feel like the story is like sucking me in. Like, I'm so encapsulated by what I'm like watching. It's like at points I feel like I'm playing the video game, but then as soon as the cutscene starts, it's just like I'm being just like sucked into like a movie. I'm like, this is so great. Like, the storytelling is unbelievable for what I was experiencing.
Like, say what you want about Naughty Dog being cheap by making The Last of Us Part 1, like the remaster, but it was fucking awesome.
It was great to see it back in the high definition.
Replaying it with the updated engine in The Last of Us Part 2 graphics, it was good. It was really fun. It was really good.
But yeah, no, that's why I came over and started playing it on your PlayStation 5. It's because I've never played it. I've never owned it. It's
Which
just-
fucking surprised me. I thought you had a PS3.
we did, but we just never got Last of Us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good choice.
I gotta be honest. After the 2 trailers we've gotten, my expectations are lowering. I got to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in the creatives still. Craig Mazin and even the roster of directors that they've gotten are pretty solid roster. And I like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey from what little I've seen of her in like Game of Thrones.
I watched her new movie just because I saw she was in it. I was like, I mean,
she's in a new Lena Dunham movie, Catherine called Birdie.
Yeah, I decided to watch that one day, and I was like, it was a movie. It was definitely wasn't made for me. So, but
I'm gonna keep. Obviously, I'm excited for it, and we'll be going in with an open mind, and we'll take it as what it is. But like as I already said, I tried to write my own adaptation of it for fun years ago. I really like the story, and as someone who's like pictured in my mind what a show or a movie of The Last of Us would look like, this is not exactly what I had like visualized in my mind. So I have to divorce my expectations from that. But that said, like I said, I'm still very intrigued by the creative team, and I think it's in good hands.
Neil Druckmann has said a lot of story elements that got cut from the game is present in the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I am nervous.
Like, they're clearly expanding Bill's storyline, which you can see because him and the partner he had.
Well, they actually cast his partner as like a role.
Because all you see of him in the game is after he kills himself.
He's hung himself, and so. We'll see. The biggest issue, and this is like not even really like a story issue, or like I think the show looks like shit. I really do not like the color grade or the cinematography or it just looks too digital and it looks too.
What do you mean?
Sharp. It needs like slap a grain filter on there. I don't know. I think the actual look of the show is not what I want. I'm being a little bit of a downer.
Looks too clean.
It just looks way. It looks way too clean. Even like rewind a little bit to like.
It does have that honesty. Like they does have that kind of HBO lighting.
It looks. Yeah, like the House of the Dragon just aired. Like that shot in particular, and even like there, like I mean. They look, for people who are like living in a post-apocalyptic world.
That's Ashley Johnson.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. She's playing Ellie.
She is playing Ellie's
definitely playing Ellie's. And Troy Baker is playing like one of David's side goons.
Yeah, that's the
guy who's playing Frank.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not even the Last of Us issue. It is just an issue with like TV. I find most TV that is shot digitally looks like shit. I don't know. I think it's colored terribly and it looks way too sharp and crystal clear. And The Last of Us would have been just like, even if he didn't shoot on film, I get it, but like
it would have cost way too much to shoot the series on film.
Slap a filter on it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pause to that. But you see,
and Troy like Baker. I don't know, when you're already blowing. Yeah, there's Troy Baker right there.
Yeah.
When you're already blowing like $300 million, shoot on fucking film. I don't know.
It costs so much.
Not when you're already spending $300 million on.
When I was on set, it took like 4 days, 4 13-hour days to shoot probably a 10-minute scene.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I was only there for the end of the scene.
Yeah.
Like...
No, but like, I don't know, anyone will tell you as well that actually decides to still shoot on film that it realistically, when you break it down, is not really that much.
Well, it depends what film you want to shoot on. If it's like Super 35, or if it's like 35 mil, or if it's like fucking IMAX film, then it's going to cost the complete.
Well, you don't need to shoot IMAX film. Like like Breaking Bad and like The Walking Dead shot on film for like 10 years. Like, I don't know. I think this actual look of the show is lacking, and it looks like a cheap TV show. Unfortunately, to me.
Well, you're not wrong. Like looking at some of the shots, they almost do look like some of them like almost Game of Thrones-esque shots.
Yes, and I enjoyed Game of Thrones, and I even enjoyed the most recent like House of the Dragon.
They have good effects,
but like it looks like TV. It looks like cheap TV, and
it does.
It's which is like ironic to say because The Last of Us is a TV show.
And it's one of the most expensive shows ever shot in Canada.
Yes, it is
the most expensive show.
Yeah, it is after all a TV show. But when you're trying to achieve a cinematic look and a cinematic show, like what they're clearly going for. I don't know. Make it look a little bit more like a
cinematic.
Like cinematic.
Yeah.
That is not even a Last of Us issue. That's like just like a TV writ large issue.
Absolutely.
Like I said, that said, I'm still incredibly excited to watch. I'm gonna be watching the show week to week.
Yes,
the second it comes
like the
out.
Thursday night it comes out or whatever.
I am not. It's Sunday nights actually.
Oh, it's Sunday nights.
It's gonna be their big. It's
none of that. It's gonna go back to the Last of Us parties.
Yes.
yeah.
So I'm excited, and like I said, I have a complete faith in the creative team.
Yeah, because Chernobyl was awesome.
I really like the director roster that they've gotten. It's like every single director has like almost every single one of them has directed like at least one Academy Award nominated foreign language movie. It's like all foreign language directors.
What episode do you think Neil Druckmann directed? Because he directed one.
He said he directed the 3rd episode online.
I wonder what happened.
And based on the pictures that he shared on his social media and different things like that, it looks like he's directing an episode that when Tess is still alive. So I think Tess is at least alive until the 3rd. Spoilers for the game, I guess, but the game is 10 years old. Sorry.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have apprehensions, mostly just about the look, and I'm willing to give Bella Ramsey the benefit of the doubt. But it's a really tough role to fill. Like that is an iconic role that everyone really loves.
What about Pedro as Joel? Like
he's good. Like I think he'll be good. He's a really good actor. It'll be.
Yeah, I love him he's an actor. I don't think he has the look though.
Really?
No. I don't think he looks.
He doesn't have the game look, but they've clearly gone for a different direction.
Kind of style, yeah.
Different direction from what the. So that's what I mean. You have to really try and divorce yourself from the game.
You know what's the thing, though? It's gone a different direction. The story is so expanded compared to what we saw from the game. Yet it's still, in my opinion, it still seems like it's the most closest, the most faithful adaptation of a video game that I have ever seen.
I'm excited for it.
Like Uncharted was close. Uncharted was a close adaptation, but didn't quite pull it off.
It was not.
Yeah,
If you're a true lover of the Uncharted games, don't even talk about that movie. Don't even talk about that movie. That movie was.
They tried.
I mean, that's also what worries me about it, though. Every single thing that's like trying touched.
How close was Neil Druckmann to the Uncharted
into a movie or a film?
Neil Druckmann
has been terrible. Like the Assassin's Creed movie was terrible. The World of Warcraft movie was what the hell?
What about the Lara Croft movie?
The Lara Croft movie? I don't know. I didn't even see that.
I don't even remember.
Alicia would have. I don't even know where the actress'
I did
name.
see the Tomb Raider.
What'd you think?
The new
I don't even remember. It was
Resident Evils.
But like the new Uncharted.
Resident Evil's there's a goofy.
The new Uncharted wasn't bad. I didn't think it was horrible. As
a dedicated fan of the video games, it was fucking. Wow, that movie sucked.
Again, as someone who has wanted to make Uncharted into a movie for a long time, like
as a kid in like high school, I would just like write short stories based off of like something that happened like in like Uncharted.
Like, damn, you waited 10 years to die like this? Like what the hell? I don't know.
how close was Neil Druckmann to the Uncharted film?
He only made the Uncharted film?
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Oh, really?
No.
He kind of just signed off on its existence?
No, Neil Druckmann was not the creator of Uncharted. I thought
he was part of it.
Neil Druckmann co-directed the 4th game, and that was it. Neil Druckmann was not even involved. Well, he was involved because he was at the studio, but Neil Druckmann was not a creative member for the first 3. That's why the 4th game has like a Last of Us vibe to it, because it's created by the guy who did The Last of Us. Like, the tone for the 4th Uncharted game shifts very... Even though it keeps the, like, lighthearted Uncharted fun, you're like, oh, this is the guy who directed The Last of Us.
It does, yeah. The game looks so gorgeous, though.
Yeah.
I love the look of Uncharted.
Like, even, like, 6 years later.
Yeah.
Like, it came out 6 years ago.
Yeah, it looks great still, though.
That's amazing.
Pretty fucking crazy that it came out long ago.
But yeah, I still need to play all the way through The Last of Us, but as somebody that knows what happens in the story, I'm excited for the show.
When
What's gonna happen?
I don't
in season
think
2?
I truly don't think this breaks any rules on paperwork that I signed. But when I was on set, there was whispers of season 2 being a possibility. I heard the people on set were joking around.
Yeah, again, when I just recently had a conversation with someone who is in the industry, he did not want to explicitly say, but he was basically like,
like a couple of people on the set were they weren't being serious, but like they seemed like they were like talking about it.
You don't spend $300 million on one season.
Yeah.
So
one-off.
Let's just say season 2 is happening. Do you think season 2 will directly go to the Last of Us Part 2 story, or do you think it'd do it'd be original?
Depends on how long they want to keep Pedro for.
No, they would do a second game series, and then they'd wrap it up.
Do you think they go straight to the Last of Us 2 story? Really?
Yeah, what would they make up?
I mean, I guess that's fair. They wouldn't really like write their own.
What do they have to make up?
I don't know, but I think there's a lot. I think they're totally because Last of Us Part 2 takes place like 5 years later.
It does.
There's lots of story.
Just do some stuff in between.
Yeah, that's
like also who cares about that?
Yeah, I don't know. If they're doing a second...
When they announced the Last of Us series, you were very strong on your idea that it should not be a replication of the game story. So what if they did that for the second season?
Well, I was worried about it being a replication of the game story because every single time I've seen anything do that, it's just like dog water.
Yeah. But like, if they did, I wouldn't be against the idea of them doing something original that we haven't seen before.
I mean, I don't know. It's cool, I guess, but it's also like the same thing with like fucking Rogue One. Like Rogue One's cool, but it's also like... I don't really give that much of a fuck about the story of Rogue One, to be honest with you. Like, the ending 30 minutes, 40 minutes of the whole battle of, like, that one planet, I can't remember the name of. Scarif. That whole scene is gangster as fuck. That is, like, some really good Star Wars content. But the rest of the movie, I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit about Jyn Erso. She's not a part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good.
But that's The Last of Us. I mean, it'd be cool to see them bring The Last of Us 2 story to life. That'd be a sensitive subject for them to touch because a lot of people don't like The Last of Us 2's game.
A lot of people can get bent.
Yeah. Sucks to suck, bro.
That's like with most things that are come out nowadays. There's
learn to fight your demons and develop.
The Last of Us 2,
people don't like it.
I think people didn't like The Last of Us 2. It's really hard to say. I want to say people, like, spoiler for you and spoiler for you guys. You know fucking Joel dies. Yeah. I feel like people are like, do you think this it's like The Last Jedi? I call The Last of Us Part 2 The Last Jedi of video games because I feel like so many people hate it for one very specific reason and refuse to acknowledge 95% of the rest of the story. On
everyone forgets what Yoda says. We are what they grow beyond. Exactly. Freaking, you don't need Joel anymore after the first game. The game's about Ellie. Joel's out of the way. Freaking, you don't need the freaking Luke anymore because the movie's about Rey. Get Luke out of the way.
I don't compare the stories. I just compare the fan reception.
No, it's just the same thing with like the Master. It's like the freaking Master Oogway. He fucking dies after he teaches Poe how to do karate. Once the Master's done, he moves on. Like, you don't need Joel for the second game again.
Actually, could have come up with a good segue from Kung Fu Panda into the Sight and Sound list, honestly.
Yeah, fair.
No, I'm being serious. There's actually a segue because there's a connection to Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say Oogway doesn't actually teach Poe. It's Master
I know,
Shifu.
but he's the one. He's the one who teaches Shifu.
I don't understand. Like, The Last of Us Part 2, I thought was incredible. I thought it was a fucking insane game. Like, I didn't hate anything about the story. Like, genuinely. I thought the entire game, beginning to end, was outstanding.
After I finished The Last of Us 2 and, like, the credits were rolling, I literally, like, dropped my controller at my feet and was just like, okay.
And that's great! People were saying the game is too depressing or why. Like, what's the point of playing the game if you just want to hate yourself the whole time?
Well, it makes you appreciate your life, man. Bro. It makes you appreciate what you got.
It's actually telling a good story, in my opinion. I thought it was...
Fuck, man, that sucks.
I mean, I wasn't huge on beating the fuck out of Ellie as Abby.
Well, yeah, but that's what it's
like. I wasn't huge.
Nobody likes doing that because you're like this. I've been trying to fight this bitch the whole game, and now I have to fight myself.
Obviously, the game is set up to you hate Abby, you hate this bitch.
Yeah, but
so we have to kill. So we're going after to kill her, but then we force the player. Yeah. I understand why people are mad about that, but I also understand why Neil Druckmann wanted us to do that.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. The whole game was just about like the evils
understanding both sides of the story.
Yeah, and there's two sides of the coin. And, like Ellie has her own evils, Abby has her own evils, Joel had his own evils.
Yeah,
like it's just like honestly the whole my whole takeaway from The Last of Us 2 is that like. Yeah, sometimes, like, the world is full of, like, shitty things, and you gotta do shitty stuff to try and be a good person. Like,
I remember, like, in late 2020, shortly after Last of Us Part 2 came out, people were, like, so mad online that they wanted to, like like go against Naughty Dog for a false advertisement, because like in the trailers there's scenes that were never in the game of old Joel helping Ellie, and I'm just like, ooh, what do you guys want? Like they're
oh no,
it's their job.
Expectations are subverted.
It's their job to sell the game, give you expectations, and want you to buy the game. It's a continuation of the first story. You'd be freaking out if you saw every single trailer and advertisement for Last of Us Part 2 and there was not a single frame of Joel in it. You'd be like, where the fuck is Joel? It goes back to what I was saying when we were talking about the Guardians movies, and like how the trailers are sometimes completely different, or like they're given to us in one way and the movie turns out to be completely different.
Yeah. Talking about trailer being different, you're supposed to be in that scene.
Facts.
You were digitally cut out.
I was a background in this scene. I'm literally dead on the ground right in front of that bloater.
Or maybe not digitally cut out. Maybe the scene's just entirely digital. But
yeah, the scene's probably entirely digital.
Yeah, but anyways.
But yeah, like advertisements get changed to sell. A trailer's sole purpose is to sell.
Yeah.
Sir.
Okay, they're trying to sell you a game about Ellie and Joel because you loved the first game about Ellie and Joel, and you're gonna go into the game thinking you're playing as Joel or playing as Ellie with Joel. Yeah. It's not that. Nope.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's what makes a good story.
We're done talking about new trailers, new movies coming out and stuff, and now if we want to give the floor to Zach so we can talk about what he wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, we brought Zach on today to talk about the Sight and Sound's top 100 list that just came out a couple days ago. And,
if you'd like to explain what that is, because I don't even fully.
As the resident film nerd, Sight and Sound is an institution, film magazine based out of Britain, BFI, and every 10 years, I think since the 50s.
1952 is the first year.
There it says right there. Since the 50s. Every 10 years, they poll critics and directors, and they ask them to submit a ballot of 10 movies that they believe to be the greatest films ever made, and they aggregate all of those ballots into a list, which is the Sight and Sound top 100. There technically is a 250, but top 100, and yeah, it's a big moment if you're a fan of film, because the Sight and Sound list in a lot of ways is kind of like the canon of film, as Jared is pouring his drink. Like you have you'll have there's like Best Picture winners, or Best Picture nominees. There's like that group, or there's even like Palme d'Or, the movies that have won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes, and your Parasite and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But really without everyone knows, even if you're not really super into film, everyone at least has heard of the stat that Citizen Kane is the best movie ever made, and that is Sight and Sound. That is the reason Citizen Kane has the status it has is because it kept topping every single Sight and Sound poll every 10 years.
I need to order the Criterion copy of that movie. I want to watch it.
I've been that's been on my list for a while. Yeah. I do own the Blu-ray, but not the 4K. Anyway. And speaking of Citizen Kane, though, every single decade, forever and ever, Citizen Kane would top the list until 2012 when Vertigo topped the list, and it was kind of like a big moment. I was like, oh my god! After however many years, Citizen Kane has been dethroned as the greatest movie of all time according to the critics.
Yeah.
And a couple of days ago, the new list came out, and in a really fun and interesting kind of surprise. Jared, I'm going to make you try and pronounce the film title, actually, because I think it'd be very funny. A French film called Jean Dielman topped the list.
Jean Dielman.
Give your best pronunciation of that title there, Jared. Jean Dielman.
23 Quad D. 23 Quad D Commerce 1080.
Bruxelles. It is the address. The title of the movie is her name and address, and the plot of Jean Dielman, without getting too into it, is this woman is going on her day-to-day life, just living in her home with her son, and again, without getting too into it, things start to upset her daily routine, and it leads to some interesting things happening and developing. And it's kind of fascinating that it topped the list. It's directed by a woman, for one, Chantal Akerman, who's a very, very famous French filmmaker if you are into art house film. But yeah, so this is the whole top 100. And as we've pointed off camera, you guys are not too familiar with a lot of these movies on the list, which is honestly the point, because as I was saying, this is like the canon, and it's always the thing that I find most exciting about like a Sight and Sound list, and you might look at it and be like, this is a lot of like boring art house stuff, or like stuff that might not be up your wheelhouse, and that very well could be true. There's plenty of movies on here that I've seen a vast majority of them on the list, and then of course there's plenty that I didn't connect to or didn't respond to as much as the other ones. But it's always fun to explore this list and see what is out there and develop your own taste, at least as a cinephile. That's like the most exciting part about this list. But yeah, anyway. Did you have some thoughts, Tristan? I know you said you wanted to say some stuff.
Well, I just had a couple of like stats on the list that I thought were kind of interesting. Like you already had mentioned, like the first year that they started in 1952 was the movie Bicycle Thieves, and then every single year from 1962 to 2002 was Citizen Kane, which I thought was very interesting. That's a huge reign of time for that to hold.
Yeah.
I thought what else was interesting that like for the top 4 like most watched films on the list, all of them are within the last quarter of the movies, like the 75 and up, which is interesting. Like Parasite being the number 1 most watched movie on the list, and that's placed at number 90, and then Get Out being number 2 at 100
for Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Which is honestly wild as well. So there are 4 movies post 2010 that made the list.
Yes.
Get Out, Moonlight, Parasite, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which shockingly, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is incredibly high up. At least if you're asking me, Portrait of a Lady on Fire ranked 30, which that's wild for a movie that is 3 years old, less than 3 years old. Pretty wild. It caused some controversy on Twitter with cinephiles. People were like, which is funny because when Portrait of a Lady on Fire, it was roundly celebrated as like one of the best movies of the year. It's an incredible movie, but then it ends up as 30 as the best movies of all time, and then people turn on it as like as overrated.
Is Salo on here?
No. But if you want to talk about some directors who probably had Salo, there are probably quite a few that had it on their ballot. But there are 2 lists. This is the critics list. This is the famous one is always the critics list, the one that. Yeah. But I like to look at the directors list because this is the directors aggregate, and there is a different number 1 if you for the directors list.
Yes.
2001: A Space Odyssey. Not a surprise at all. Jean Dielman, though, does place incredibly high at number 4.
It's tied for number 4, yeah.
Yeah, tied for number 4 with Tokyo Story. But yeah, the top 10, just briefly looking at the top 10, which is pretty cool, because there actually is a recent movie, or at least within 20 years. Mulholland Drive.
Top 8, yeah.
Cracked it. Man with a Movie Camera, which is interesting. So the top 10 is Singing in the Rain, Man with a Movie Camera, Mulholland Drive, Beau Travail, 2001: A Space Odyssey, In the Mood for Love, Tokyo Story, Citizen Kane, Vertigo, and Jean Dielman.
Another thing that you were talking about how Jean Dielman is directed by a woman. Another thing that I thought was interesting about this new list is for the first time, like in 2012, there was only 2 women directors on the list, and now for this year there's 11.
Yeah,
which is really cool to see.
And 2 in the top 10. Yeah. Beau Travail,
2 in the top
directed
10,
by
11 on the whole list.
Claire Denis.
So it's cool to see that finally they're starting to break into the scene, and get their name.
Yeah,
it's about damn time.
It is very cool. Well, the poll increased. It doubled in the amount of people who were previously able to vote. In 2012, there were, I think, 800, and now there were over 1,600. So that's what causes the poll to like shift, and that's why you will get maybe a couple of recent movies like you would get Parasite or Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah.
Or Get Out. I have nothing against. I love all 4 of those movies. It is just shocking to actually see movies that recent on the poll. The Sight and Sound list has always traditionally skewed older and more academic because it's polling critics about what they would consider to be the greatest movies of all time. But
there's a couple movies on there that we have seen. Like, I've only seen like 7 or 8 movies on this top 100 list.
I've only seen like 13.
The top 10, I've seen one. And that's
Which
2001.
one?
Yeah, I've seen 2001.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen Citizen Kane. I saw the Gary Oldman movie.
Do you want a copy of Mulholland Drive?
I don't even know what movie. Wait.
By David Lynch.
I have an extra Criterion copy.
Why do you have an extra copy of it?
Because I just picked up the 4K.
Oh.
Nice. But yeah. Like you were going to say.
I was just saying, like, two movies that made me really happy personally to enter onto the top 100 list are Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro by Studio Ghibli. They're like 74, 75, like right beside each other.
Yeah. Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah, Hayao Miyazaki. I can't say his name right now. I'm just throwing my words. But
Spirited Away, 75.
Amazing movies. I love those movies so much. Spirited
so
Away,
good.
I grew up with that movie, so it's got a soft spot in my heart. But then I always just love like almost every single movie that Studio Ghibli has produced. So.
Kiki's Delivery Service is probably my favorite.
Yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service is
it's
another
so
honorable
good.
mention. Like, come on. It might, again, like one of my personal favorites. I know it's not like as like revered. It's like Howling's Moving Castle was like one of my favorites by them too. It was so good.
If you're picking like the one, though, you kind of I guess you kind of have to go with Spirited Away.
Spirited Away is definitely like their piece.
Yeah.
Which again, there are some interesting omissions on this list, like Pulp Fiction.
Is it actually on there?
Nope, Pulp Fiction not on the list.
Pulp Fiction,
which is very surprising.
Was it on
It's
the
not
list?
really surprising. I think it might not have been on the list. I just figured, considering it had expanded so much, that you would get Pulp Fiction. And I mean, I love Pulp Fiction, but it's not even the fact that I love Pulp Fiction. It's the fact that if you're coming up with a list of like 100 movies that are important to cinema, like you're putting Pulp Fiction on that
Pulp
list.
Fiction's actually one of the Tarantino movies I have not seen.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, I've seen like
Wow.
most of Tarantino's films, but I've not seen Pulp Fiction.
If you're coming up with 100 movies of all time that are important, you kind of have to put Pulp
You
Fiction
gotta
on the
mention
list.
it.
Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Django Unchained.
Yeah.
I
Django
fucking
Unchained is
love
really
Django
good.
Unchained.
Yeah.
But
So
I
good.
actually don't
Pulp
even.
Fiction
I don't
is
think
good.
there's a Steven Spielberg movie on the 100.
No,
Really?
100
isn't.
either. There's no Spielberg.
Really?
Which-
Not even like Schindler's List or Jaws?
I
or-
would have. Well,
No.
so I can segue. I made my own ballot of 10 movies.
Yeah.
That I would have put on if I was polled. They're in no order at all. They're just I spent the weekend racking my brain, and I deleted and redid this list like 4 times. But my own personal list is trying to reflect my own taste, but then also reflect to cover. I wanted to include a documentary. I wanted to include a silent film. I wanted to include like 1 or 2 foreign language movies to try and really
Right.
cover. I have one that represents the blockbuster culture of.
Yeah, you almost put like little guidelines on yourself to just like
Yeah.
almost represent every like
That's
genre.
That's what I'm doing for my like 10
Right.
list. Like there are fun limitations that you can put on yourself. Like if you read the director's ballots, Wes Anderson for his ballot this year, he wrote a little note saying, I don't think anyone can come up with a list of the 10 best movies of all time. So since I'm in France while making this list, I'm just going to list my 10 favorite French movies. And that's what his entire list was just his 10 favorite French movies.
Right.
That's the thing, though. Whenever someone asks me what's my favorite movie of all time, I cannot give them an answer.
No.
I
Me
think
I just tell them to
can.
fuck
Well,
off.
I think I can with my list.
I can't.
So
I cannot give you my favorite answer if you ask me what my favorite movie is. I can't.
my 10, Seven Samurai,
It's a good movie.
Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have Jaws.
Yeah.
A Woman Under the Influence, which it's a John Cassavetes movie. If you have never heard of John Cassavetes, to me he represents indie filmmaking. He's like the godfather of like independent cinema. So, Woman Under the Influence, an incredible movie. Personal pick for myself, just like one that I love, and then also kind of represents like the 90s boom in the with the independent movies as well as Magnolia. I love Magnolia, so that one is on there for myself. Gun to my head, ask me my favorite movie of all time or the best movie of all time. Once Upon a Time in the West which does make the list, which is
that's all my watch list.
Criminally low. When I opened the list, I was like, "Where's Once Upon a Time in the West?" I was like, "You fucker!" It's 95.
It's like 6 way tied for
Once Upon a Time in the West and Once Upon a Time in America. I want to see both.
Gun to my head, on any given day, Once Upon a Time in the West might be the best movie ever made, in my opinion. Again, it's all subjective.
Right.
You can ask me another day and be like, I would tell you it was Seven Samurai, you know?
What's the Akira Kurosawa's second movie on this list?
I'll double check in just a second. But
I'll leave.
Close Up is my documentary pick, which if you've not seen Close Up is fucking incredible.
What's that about?
It is a hybrid documentary / fiction film about a true story of an Iranian man who went on trial for, So, just rewinding. This man impersonated a filmmaker, his favorite filmmaker, because he looked like he was approached on a bus by someone, and they thought that he was this filmmaker, and so he pretended to be them and befriended them and entered their lives, and they even were giving him money to like maybe make a movie, and he was caught and he went on trial for the crime. Obviously they went after him for the money he was taking, but he basically went on trial and defended himself in court as like, I didn't do it because I was trying to steal from these people, I did it just because I love movies. And so the movie is half there's a very famous director called Abbas Kiarostami in Iran who heard about the story, and so he entered the court case and filmed the court case. But then outside of the court case, so half of the movie is him actually recording the trial, and him being on trial and being like, I did it because I love cinema, basically.
Yeah.
And then the other half of the movie is he's actually having the real people that this happened to reenact the events that happened. It's really cool, and it's really fucking... I actually think Close Up might be on the list. If not, it's referenced quite a few times. But awesome. Close Up is my documentary pick. Silent film pick, Charlie Chaplin, Gold Rush. Rush is
Close Up, number 17.
Yeah. Close Up is great.
Interesting.
Halloween. Halloween's my horror pick. I had to put a horror movie on.
Right.
I thought about The Shining.
Shining's on the list.
I thought about The Shining.
I think my favorite classic horror movie is Alien.
Yeah.
It's fair. Shining is my favorite.
I love Alien.
Alien to me is almost too sci-fi over horror, but Alien is still a great choice.
I think for me, my favorite classic would be The Thing.
The Thing.
Yeah.
I love The Thing.
I love The Thing too.
I fucking...
And then my last two are Blowout, which is the Brian De Palma movie. I threw him on purely because he wasn't on any of the 100, and I was like, I need a Brian De Palma movie on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And then my classic movie, like Golden Age of Hollywood, is Only Angels Have Wings, which is a Howard Hawks movie. You would probably be super interested in it. It's about pilots in South America at this like base, and it's like really treacherous, and it's kind of like an adventure romance movie. But
well,
damn.
Moving on from the list.
I guess
the list is it's super interesting to see that come in every year.
Yeah.
To see what people are thinking.
Every 10 years.
Every 10
What happened for another 10 years? So this is the list for 10 years.
So this won't happen until 2032.
2032.
Again.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get pulled.
Yes.
Exactly.
But my list in 10 years from now could be vastly different.
Absolutely.
It could be It's meant to represent like a moment
hopefully
in time.
10 years.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
maybe not in 10 years.
It's almost like a time capsule of everybody's thoughts.
Say, like, hopefully 10 years will be one of our movies will be on this list.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's no fucking way. Maybe in like 30, 40 years.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
50 years.
Well, moving on from that, why don't we talk about the movie that we rolled last week in our random letterbox pick? And that was
Lord of War.
Lord of War starring Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage, baby.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Have you seen Lord of War?
I have not seen Lord of War.
Really?
I was going to watch it today, but I decided to not watch it because I was going to be doing so much talking about the sight and sound. I figured I would take a step back. And
I thought the movie was fascinating.
Should we just throw the trailer on quick? Just
Here,
so
I'm gonna-
Zach has an idea.
yeah, sure. I'm familiar with the movie. I am
Sure,
familiar
yeah.
with the movie.
Yeah, I mean, while you're throwing that on, I'll just give my brief opinion on it. I thought it was interesting. I I didn't realize that it, like, came out before all of these other, like, kind of like gun smuggling, kind of like crime movies.
Yeah.
But it definitely is like the inspiration for a lot of those movies. Like Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio, it takes heavy. Like, I could totally see how this was inspired by that. Mm-hmm. Same with like War Dogs and all those, like, even maybe like Ocean's 11 kind of esque. Like, there's just like the way the charismatic cockiness of Nicolas Cage is like you can see very much used out again.
The opening sequence I thought was fascinating.
The opening sequence is very cool.
I thought it was so interesting. On just showing
the CG bullets.
The process of the bullet from the very beginning to the very end. And it so easily managed to encapsulate everything Nicolas Cage's character does.
Yeah.
He is selling the bullets. That's all he really cares about, but it has a whole other effect. These bullets are being used for completely different reasons. It could be used for... I don't know, the fucking military can be using them, war criminals could be using them, freedom fighters can be using them. Anyone with a gun is using these weapons that he is selling across the globe.
And that's the thing with the movie at the end, especially, is it pops up with these titles that say, like, the like biggest suppliers.
Yeah, gun runners are still an issue in the world, but like the biggest suppliers of firearms are the U.S., like USSR, China, and
USSR, all these like the Israel. Main countries that are the powerhouses of the world, right?
But even Nicolas Cage made a very valid point. Sometimes they don't want to get their hands dirty and seem crooked when they're trying to sell their arms, so they get some third party to do it for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, no, it's a very interesting movie. It's a very interesting topic, and I thought it was, like, cool. The only thing I wasn't, like, huge on, and it's just, like, personal take, is just I don't really like the whole, like, narration of movies. Like, when, like, when, like, the character is just, like, talking about, like, the events of the movie as, like, because they've already happened to him. It's just, like, I don't know. There's some, like, weird disconnect that I get with the movie.
Well, like, that's what I was
The stakes always feel, to me, always feel, like, disillusioned, because it's like, I don't know, when like he's in a tense scene and someone's like, I'm gonna kill you because this deal's going wrong, and it's like, well, maybe he's not, because he's narrating and talking about this scene.
I was gonna say, especially in a movie like this that deals heavily with violence, guns,
like when you're trying to build tension, and then the character's being like, this went really bad for me, but luckily I made it out, and then there's a big tension scene. It's like, well, it's not really tension anymore. It's, I know he survives this.
Yeah, because he's narrating as it's happened in the past, so you know he makes it out of these events already. Yeah. So it's like you're watching it, and then it's happening, and you're like, well, okay, this doesn't really have any stakes because I already know he's gonna make it out.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the movie I thought it was very similar to The Wolf of Wall Street. Even though they're completely different topics, it's still got the same feeling.
Style.
Like, he's doing something illegal. He's doing something that's definitely frowned upon, but on paper, if you look at the gray area, it could be seen as fine.
That's why I say, like, I also get Ocean's 11 vibes from this.
And there's this guy chasing around who's trying to find the evidence to take him down, but he's like, hey, you don't have evidence on me. I'm just a regular schmo trader.
Absolutely.
It reminded me of The Wolf of Wall Street.
Honestly, even Now You See Me.
Really?
Yeah, literally, because Now You See Me is like the magicians are just doing amazing magic, and then the cop is like trying to catch him, and they're like, "Oh, fooled you again, fooled you again, fooled you again."
Yeah.
And then there's a big at the end of the day, eventually like fall out. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Yeah. I thought Nicolas Cage was in it. I thought Jared Leto was actually pretty good.
I agree.
I forgot he was in the movie. Yeah, Jared Leto.
Yeah, he was that when Jared Leto was on screen. Those were some of my favorite parts, just because his character to me was so unpredictable in a way. Yeah, like I didn't know what was gonna happen next. Like I was trying to predict what was gonna happen, but I just couldn't pinpoint what was gonna happen.
You know, he gets himself fucking killed at the end.
Yeah, like everything about it is just. It's so well done in a way. Like it
was a very. I enjoyed Jared Leto's kid a lot. Another thing I liked, just Nick Cage, just the way he is.
He's a great actor.
I love him. He is a really good actor, but the deliveries of some of his lines, just in almost every single one of his movies, they get me sometimes, man. Like there's one scene, I don't know if you remember it, but they're having a party after he sells a bunch of guns. And then he walks up to his mom and dad, and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going? How's it going?" And then he just instantly cuts the go, enjoy the party, go. And he's just like, I'm like, what is happening?
I think I might have missed it, but I think my biggest issue with Lord of War is, at least unless I missed it, it didn't really cover how he managed to get access to all of these guns.
No, that's what I mean. He kind of just comes into him, and he's just like, yeah, the war ended, so I flew to Ukraine or Russia, and then was like, I'm here to buy your guns, and the military was like, okay.
Like, he suddenly had access to all of these guns that he's selling in trafficking.
To me, the way they set it up is like he starts buying
like
the
Uzis,
small arms.
Yeah, he starts buying like firearms from like gun shops and then selling them illegally to like criminals.
Yeah,
and then from that way he starts making more money. But then I don't really. There's not shown.
I think it's just a time jump, and it's more insinuated that he was successful.
Well, I guess the connection's from his uncle, isn't it? In like the USSR.
Well, and that's the thing is he says like his uncle that runs the like is a general or whatever in the USSR in their Soviet army. Yes, he does get a deal on the weapons to make with his uncle, but yet to get to the point where he's able to spend the money on these weapons, like Jared's saying, is there's a big time gap between
must be
like it shows him
and when he's getting
the small deal, and like 5 minutes later in movie time, he's like selling like thousands of AK-47s.
Exactly, and that's
there is a pretty huge time jump, and that's what I mean though. Like, there's also the problem with like narration, because there is the time jump because he just goes, and then after that, I basically just started ramping up and started selling more and more guns, and then it's like it's insinuated because he talked.
I guess that could be seen as lazy writing to one extent.
Well, maybe, but it's also like I don't know. That's why my issue.
Narration is really
my issue with narration.
Narration could be used as a tool to jump blades to avoid like a hole in your story that you really don't know how to cover up, so you just narration.
What year is the movie set?
The movie set
19.
It's
like right after the Cold War.
It's set between
the Cold War, like
70s and
during
2000s.
the movies. When the movie starts, the Cold War is going on, and then halfway through the movie, the Cold War ends.
Right.
So it's more like the 60s and 70s.
Well, no, because like
War
at the end,
in 89.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the movie, so it's like it ends in the 2000s.
It begins in the 80s and ends in the 2000s.
You're right. I'm tweaking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like it's not bad. It was a pretty good.
It was fun.
It was an enjoyable watch.
On Nicolas Cage's, how crazy is his performance?
His performance is very tame. It was very like 2.
Have you ever beat so hard that you pissed blood? Like in Matchstick.
Speaking of Nick Cage,
he did a good job. I liked him a lot.
I really want to watch his new movie with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just talking about that one on the way here.
Yeah.
Looks really funny.
Weight of
He's got a new one coming out. You said, right?
Yeah, he's playing Dracula in a movie next year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I saw behind the scenes footage of that
in Renfield. I'm really excited. I hope he goes nuts for it. What did he reference? I'm blanking. He said that he recently saw a movie that really inspired his performance for Renfield, and it got me very excited. But of course, on the spot, I am blanking.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I would highly recommend it.
I would also recommend it to give it a watch. Would I watch it again?
Probably not. Honestly, in my opinion,
it's not a rewatchable movie. It's a movie that you'd watch
simply just because I've seen so many movies like it, and like I think I said this today in our group chat. I said, maybe I just said this to myself. It was like, if I had watched this movie before I had seen all these other movies, I probably would enjoy it a lot more than I do.
Catch Me If You Can, with Wall Street.
Like if I wasn't so used to the whole like criminal sneaking behind everyone's back, being super slick, being like an absolute god at what he's doing, and then like having like the consequences blow up in his face, I'm like, it would have been more enjoyable for me, but because I've just seen it so many times, I was like, okay, cool, it was another story. But honestly, it came out in 2005. It was probably like the inspiration for a lot of.
And I was gonna say for 2005, like the CG, even like the
opening
whole
animation,
animation.
That opening
stuff,
scene was
it
crazy.
looked really good.
It was
really good. Yeah.
It was
and like
really
there's one part where like it was like the box is like in camera, and I could tell that it was CG'd like just over top of the bottom frame, and I was like, that's a little bad, but other than that, like everything else, it's an enjoyable watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole. I thought there could have been a little bit more interaction between, like, Ethan Hawke and Nicolas Cage. Like he kind of just pulls up and he's always like, "Damn it, I'm always like 2 steps behind you. Damn it."
Yeah.
And then it like pulls up at the end and he's like, "Now I got you because your wife turned you in." And then he's like, "Actually, you still don't."
I did like the ending though, like how like you're almost meant to think like, okay, like yeah, he's actually gonna go away. Like the narration of it, all that stuff, and then how it just like instantly just flips on you, and you're like, he just is telling you how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's like that part to me, like just because I've never heard of like the actual story or anything of it, like I was like, oh yeah, like that's actually kind of cool. Like I enjoyed that ending of it.
Yeah.
But it's also like
it ended the way you thought it would.
Yeah.
It did,
at least
yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's also just largely to do with like that's it following that
The one
beat that
scene
we've seen before.
in the final act, in the last scene where he's like sitting in the detention room or whatever with Ethan Hawke, and he's like explaining exactly how the next 5 minutes are going to go down.
yeah.
And he's like, someone's going to knock on the door and he's going to say, I'm released, and you're going to protest it and threaten to resign. That whole scene I thought was freaking great. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And then the exact same thing happens. Ethan Hawke is just sitting there, just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's what I was
And-
just saying. Is I really like that ending, like whole part of that.
He's a smart and calculated
yeah,
guy.
like I
Honest guy.
enjoyed that a lot, and
Yeah.
like even throughout the whole interactions, even with Ethan Hawke, like I really enjoyed the intensity of it. Like
one thing that I
the
will
first,
say
like
though,
boat scene when he has to change
there is
the
no
name.
fucking way on earth that this fucking kid transformed a pack helicopter into a service helicopter before the cops got to the
No, absolutely not.
like I mean, like, I get it, it's all for, like, the movie, but his team was madness on how fast they'd be like, the cops are here, quickly, rename the fucking boat, register us under the Netherlands fucking trading charter, go, quickly, take all of the guns and pull all of the fucking bullets out of that helicopter now, put them over, like, it was like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck did they move that fast? But that was, like, other than that, it was, like, it was fun, it was good.
It's a good watch.
Anyway,
I guess we can shuffle for our next
our next film and
watch
then
for next week.
Yeah.
Before you shuffle, give you do you have your streaming services put into your Letterboxd account?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because what you can do as well, if you shuffle your watch list, you can also shuffle it to shuffle films that are only streamable on your streaming services, so you don't get boned with one that is not streaming on a service you have.
I'm sure I'd be able to track it down. I also don't have Letterboxd Pro because I'm not a gamer.
I don't think that you need Letterboxd Pro for it.
It's fine.
Anyway.
Sort by.
Let's
Shuffle.
ruffle.
Let's see what we got coming in for next week. If you haven't
Shuffle
seen
away.
Lord of War, I'd
Shuffle.
recommend you watch it. It's on Netflix in Canada. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix in America.
Probably.
It probably is.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Give her
Check
a
it
watch
out.
if you're interested. If you like what we heard, if you like what we've been saying about it. But now we're gonna
Do you
shuffle
like those
for the.
mastermind criminal movies, running behind the police and that kind of stuff? Check it out. It's a real fun watch.
It is.
Nicolas
Very
Cage
good.
and Jared Leto do a good
We're
job.
gonna proceed to shuffle for the movie that we will discuss next week. Let's go. What do we got?
Oh, we're
so
so close
close.
to House.
What is that?
Fucking mainstream.
Andrew Garfield.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sweet.
He's my boy. I fucking love Andrew.
That's awesome.
I've actually seen. I saw like a small clip of this on Netflix. That's why I added it to my watch list. It looked interesting. It basically looks like a commentary on toxicity on like
It's
YouTube,
about like
on
social
YouTube. On YouTube.
Is this the one he did with like a bunch of YouTubers?
Yeah, Jake Paul's in this movie.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the one movie that-
I know what this
There was
is.
Okay.
There was
Yeah.
a brief stint where he was like seen out and about with like frosted tips, Andrew Garfield, because his character in this movie
Yeah,
is-
Right.
It's a commentary on social media influencers on how
Yeah,
they can be
because
toxic.
I heard something about like
Interesting.
the movie is not that good, but his performance
Do you-
is
it's-
really
it is
good.
on Netflix.
Yeah, it is on Netflix.
Do you know who directed it?
Gia Coppola. Who did?
Gia Coppola. She is the grand.
Francis Ford Coppola?
Yeah, she is. I'm pretty sure she is the granddaughter of Francis Ford
Oh
Coppola.
yeah.
So she is Godfather royalty.
Nice.
Hell yeah!
Hey.
All right, well next week we'll watch Mainstream. If you haven't seen it,
Check
watch
it out.
it. I know for a fact it's on Netflix in Canada. I
We
can't speak for the
will,
Americans.
We'll
Download-
watch it.
NordVPN, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll watch that leading into next week,
We'll chat about that next week, and
and alongside other news going on.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks
It was
for checking
dope.
out.
it was another long episode,
is there anything-
unintentionally.
Anything we want to wrap up? Anything
Thanks
loose ends?
for coming in, joining us, Zach.
Yeah.
Thanks for your opinion and your insight on the top 100.
Yeah. It was fun to talk about movies, entertainment, and all the good things going on in the industry. New movies coming out, like some of these hot trailers that we got to watch over the past week. I'm super excited for The Last of Us. I'm surprisingly excited for the Transformers. Indiana Jones. I can't not be stoked for that.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the best Marvel properties.
So yeah, if
next year will be a good year for movies.
2023 is going to be excellent. It's going to be excellent for video games and movies.
Yeah.
If you're into these kind of podcasts, you like talking about movies, listen to that kind of stuff, check us out next week. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Love you, miss you. See y'all again.
Yep, this
Bye.
is Product 12 Podcast. Adios, fellas.
Bye.
Bye.